I'm going to talk to you today about the stiff forearm. When I was asked for this presentation, I was thinking, the forearm is only giving me supination and pronation, but there's a lot about it. Because when you have the stiffness, it is also going more distally to the wrist and to the fingers. So it is really nice to take a better look at it, because you want to give it more than only surgery. And as hand therapist, you can do more. So let's go into the basics. I'm going to be a little bit fast, because also Dr. Shantanya Sir also talked about it a little bit. So what for us therapists is really good to know is that there are 3 factors, like the distal radial ulnar joint, the proximal radial ulnar joint. Sometimes we forget it as hand therapists, then we forget the elbow, but there's also a joint, and also the interosseous membrana, that are working together so we can make a normal active range of motion of 85 pronation and 90 degrees supination, but you have a functional range for 50%, 50%. So that is what you always want to have, but sometimes it's not possible. So what we are going to do today, I'm going to give you layers. So we are thinking in layers as a therapist, and we start it from the outside and we go inside. So our skin is our largest organ, and sometimes we forget it. So it is the one that is harnessing when you cannot rotate. It's the function in mobility is also that the skin is pliable. It's giving you sensory feedback, and when it is not doing anything for you, then you are in a harness in a really stiff forearm. So you can do your scar management techniques. We already heard something about it this days. Scar massage, the silicone therapy, pressure garments, but also the desensitization, and as hand therapists all know, also here in India, with the rice, little kinds of balls, and also just like the man on the left picture, put his hands on the table and touch it, and feel how his forearm is feeling. And of course the taping techniques and the cupping to make the skin more loose so it can rotate. So what then are the superficial fascia? What can you do about it when you are a therapist, I was always thinking. But in Holland now we have we let our patients do like a fascia dance, we call it. Because the fascia isn't not ending only at the forearm, but the fascia is also attached to the upper arm, to the neck, and to your core. So the exercises in the middle, that is what we ask our patients to do. So move whole of the body. If it isn't gliding, because of adhesions, the rotation is less. What you can do are the myofascial release. You can also do it with the end of a spoon. You don't need that fancy instruments. The soft tissue mobilization and stretching techniques like the fascia stretching. Well, of course, also the lymphatic system. It doesn't really have a functioning rotation, but what it has is when it's there, you are not able to rotate. It is blocking the rotation. It is painful, so you stop. So what you have to do is like Alison Taylor. She uses the stripes. Maybe you all know her. To do the lymphedema and also do the massage and make sure that that you do the lymph drainage. Well, then you also have the nerves, the layer of the nerves. When it is compressed, as the pronator teres syndrome, then it is painful. You are not going to rotate your arm. It is also giving you the proprioceptus. The nerves are giving you the motor control. So when it is not working, when the nerves are not there, you cannot rotate and move your hand. Then you are going to do your nerve glides. You know, the ones like this. You can give a patient tense. You can do something with the ergonomics as an OT. I know them. It's like when you cannot pronate or supinate, you can adjust your environments. So giving something that people also can do something in their daily life. You do the preventive splinting, like the one that I also show you, to make sure that the wrist is not like flexed or extended, but in a neutral position. to prevent the nerve from other compressions, and you can also do the supportive taping. Well, then you have the muscle tissue. Well, you can have weakness of the muscle, so you are, well, not able to pronate or supinate to the end range. You can have trigger points, contractures, of course, of the muscles, and imbalance. The function and rotation of the muscles, they are the primary movers of pronation and supination. If you don't have them, you cannot move it actively. And that is what we want. We really want to do early active movement. This is the age or the era where we're in, that we do the early active movement, not only the splinting, but also like move, 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 and fast. So what you are doing is stretching, you are going to do the strength training, trigger point releases, stabilization of the wrist and also on the elbow. You can do the dry needling, or you can also do here the supportive splinting or the taping, like the girl in the middle has. And that was the restriction was at the elbow, not at the wrist, at the drew. Okay. Then we have the ligament and the joint capsules. That is the thing that we are thinking the most of as hand therapists, but that is just one layer. The capsular stiffness, the ligament injury, like the TFCC, also really painful when you are rotating and it isn't there, or you have instability. What are you doing then? Joint mobilizations, glides, distraction, capsular stretching, prolonged stretched, and what you are going to do, or you can do, is then you can do a progressive and supportive splinting if you want to, but please try it first active. Okay, and the last layer, the bone and the joints. There is a lady like the congenial abnormalities. There is a syntosis at the proximal side of the forearm. So this is her pronation. And what she was suffering, because the mechanical axis of rotation wasn't good enough for her, it was becoming painful. She couldn't do the typing anymore. She was already like 35, well, and she's born with it. So at one point your arm says, oh, stop, I don't want to do it anymore. So what we did, we made her a splint, a sustainable splint, and so there is less pain. It is a protective splinting because of the arthritis that can also arise when you have it. So what I did for you, I put it in a table just to see what you can do, therapeutic interventions. You can also use it for fingers or wrist, and you can add something yourself, because the layer of the tendons you need also with the wrist and the fingers. So use it if you want to. And I have some recommendations for therapy. Patient education and a home program compliance is crucial. Start early and tell your patients why you want them to exercise. Early intervention, a combined mobilization with immediate active functional movement. Like the doctor also said, after surgery, move, move, move. And monitor for compensatory shoulder and wrist patterns. That is what you always see in those patients. And use your focus on all your anatomical layers. Don't do one, there are more. Thank you.